What do you do about de-icing?
So we don't.
Yeah.
See the size of it.
Check on the insurance liability while you're doing it.
That's it. Oh,
Who's running me? Okay. Okay. All right, it's 9 a.m. So let's call this meeting to order. Let's look at the meeting minutes. Is there any additions, corrections?
There are no additions or corrections. They move to be accepted and submitted.
And I'll support that, and I'm filling in for Commissioner Tilson.
Very good. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Call this meeting to order. Let's see here. Managers report.
Right to it, Thomas.
Good morning, everyone. Hopefully you're all
Morning.
staying warm. So, in the months of December, January, we haven't had a meeting in a little bit just due to weather and stuff like that. But, our GMC pickup, was taken to the Chevy dealership, or was it the GMC dealership? They were able to take care of a couple of the issues we were having with it. They were able to, pinpoint and diagnose a specific issue was clogged catalytic converters on the truck, which is very uncommon, but yeah. So we ended up buying a whole new exhaust system from O'Reilly's because it was cheaper through our commercial account, and installing it ourselves. So now that truck is fully operational, no check engine lights, no O2 sensors, and we're good to go there. We're still having a little bit of issues hooking up a plow to the truck right now. I was on the phone last week with Boss Snow Plow trying to diagnose a problem. And they're going to be calling me back this week with a couple of their solutions I'll be able to try. So hopefully that gets taken care of within the next couple of weeks. But it's still running and operating, driving well. Just the plow hookup still needs to be taken care of. Let's see here. Coming this month, we have our filter changes for all of our jet trucks, our little fuel farm. And we also have calibrations coming up. That is a yearly thing that's done to keep up on maintenance and standards and stuff like that. In the most recent snowfall, along with the intense cold, one of our New Holland tractors took on snow through the intake. It's so like dusty, it starts to come in through like all the air fins on the tractor, fogging the air filter with snow. So we ended up getting a couple, they're like weather covers for the outside of the tractor. We had a few of them, but they weren't all covering all the, incoming ports. So we got a couple of new ones put on there and all around, and we haven't had any more problems with that, thankfully. That's all the equipment maintenance we've had. Fingers crossed and knock on wood that we don't have any more. Grounds maintenance, weather reports of more snowfall this year have proven to be accurate. We've had a lot of plowing sessions completed already. A lot of after hours, a lot of on the weekends, stuff like that. So keeping the airport open is our main concern. And definitely keeping all the tenants happy with plowing out their hangars in front. So we haven't had any complaints there. Building repair and maintenance, a heavy windstorm in January ripped a piece of tin roofing off one of the hangars. We actually have pieces of sheet steel that I bought a few years ago just to, started replacing patches on hangars, and luckily we had a couple pieces left. We were able to replace that. It is a different color right now, but in the spring, we'll be able to paint match it to the brown color that's there. Right now, it just is, it's like a grayish color, so we'll be able to take care of that and keep the T hangers looking kind of pretty from the sky. Let's see here, we've had some recently vacated units that were in desperate need of some renovation, so during the time that we're not plowing snow, we're taking care of these units. Door maintenance, some electrical repair, and ceiling repairs were needed to make units more desirable to an active tenant. We've been doing more of these updates, so when we go onto our list, someone doesn't pass on it just because it doesn't look good or something like that. So we've been making a lot of cosmetic looking and operational improvements to the hangars to make them more desirable. We've also been implementing LED lighting still gradually throughout all of the units, especially when they come vacant. So that way it lowers electrical costs for the future and stuff like that. It's better because I don't have to replace lights every year. The ones, the fluorescent light bulbs and stuff like that eliminate, put LEDs, and I don't have to replace them for years and years and years. Finally, the flight school toilet began to leak into the basement. We then took the toilet off, repaired. There was a wax ring underneath and a couple of sealing issues. We were able to fix all that, silicone everything back up, and there's no more leaking into the basement, so that was good to go. And lastly, airport operations, coming to the final few tenants who still have empty units or unairworthy aircraft. As you know, we placed an amendment at the beginning of last year that stated you have to have an airworthy and operational aircraft to be housed on our, into our hangars. So we're coming down to the last, I think there's four left. A lot of those have been going smoothly. And then, let's see here, two of those units, of a lot of them have been filled, and we're making calls on the list for the final one. Hangar price step increases that we also implemented last year. If not all tenants will be at the new baseline by the end of this year, which kind of brings all of the hangar prices up to kind of a unison pricing because they were all sporadic all over the place. So we're still in the means of that. That should be completed by the end of the year. Let's see here. The MAAE conference will be held in Lansing this month at the Kellogg Center. That should be February 18th, so about 2 weeks from now. That's what I was talking about before the meeting. You know, I get to mingle with a lot of different vendors, take a look at pricing for stuff that I use, consumables over the year, and I get a lot of better deals at the conference. It's always a pleasure to attend the conference, especially when I'm looking for something that I'm in dire need of. They usually always have it. Let's see here. And then another huge benefit of the meeting is to sit with other general aviation managers. I've been a manager now for almost 4 years, but I still have lots to learn. So that's one of the biggest draws for me. I get to ask other veteran general airport managers, and we get to discuss any questions, comments, concerns, anything that I have problems with that I can't move forward with until I have more answers. And they're a great resource for that. So, and I also get to ask one-on-one consultant questions with, MEPCON, and Office of Aeronautics, stuff like that. So, that's what I have rolling out for the month of February in the past week.
Very good. Thanks for that. Finance report.
Question?
Oh, any questions?
Question.
Sorry.
I have a couple, just quick ones. Did you get any pushback on the increase for the hangars?
I did not, actually, which was a blessing for me. Because usually, when you're telling somebody they got to pay more money, they'll push back. We had a couple tenants that were, more on a fixed income type of deal. So they needed different remediations. So luckily, during this whole process of the amendment, we had some other units that were going available. So we were able to transfer them from their unit to it's a little bit less in price, smaller. So we were able to help them maintain, paying their rent and staying on field because they're still great tenants. So that's really the only pushback I had.
One, just out of curiosity, what did you do with the old catalytic converter?
That is still sitting in our shop.
You know, they're worth some money.
Yeah, yep. So we're thinking about taking that back in and putting that somewhere.
Locking it up somewhere.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Yes. So new hangar.
Hmm.
All in,
Yes, I did forget about that.
how can you forget about it?
I know. Yes, that new hangar that is complete, he's in, as of, I think the end of last year, but I'll get some pictures and I'll email them over to you. I keep forgetting to do that. I'm sorry about
Is
that.
that a single hangar for one plane or is it for more than, is it larger than that? I guess I should get out there and look, right?
Yeah, so it's, it was designed because he wanted to put it in a place where I have plans to put future hangars. So I found him a location that had pre-existing spot that was, already allocated for a bigger, large hangar. It's able to fit 3 small general aviation aircraft. Right now he has 2. It was built with his brother. So hopefully they're gonna get the 3rd one in sometime soon. He's building his own aircraft, but yeah, it should be bringing 2 new tenants to the field, 9 more fuel. It's awesome.
Great. Good news.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Now we'll move on to the finance report.
You will find your finance reports in your packet. You will see you have revenue totals of about 62,000, just over 62,000, which is 6.5%. Obviously, we're in the very beginning of the year, so those numbers are going to be a little bit lower. Versus expenses, and this is your general operational fund versus expenses, just under 20,500, which is a 2.29%. You will also see in your legal phase, you have expenses in the 92,000 with no revenue coming in, which kind of offsets your net income. We had some closings on those, the navigation easements just last week. So we have submitted those to MDOT, or we'll be submitting those to MDOT. So you'll start to see revenues coming in up above from the state, to reimburse that. And again, bring us back into the positive in our net income. So total right now, cash, we have 200,000, airport. Any questions? I will attempt to answer them.
The, insurance and bonds, is that a one-time cost?
The insurance and bonds, so we have a couple different insurance and bonds that hit there. We have obviously our airport insurance, and then we also have some of our pollution insurance, which hits there. But those are one time, yes, we're charged annually for both of those.
Any other questions? Any other business?
I do have one thing I'd like to bring up. I've been in contact with Mead and Hunt and Alpine Tree Service, for the tree project that's coming up. I had a big concern if weather was going to be a factor, with the tree project coming up, if that was going to be pushed, because we've already notified and stuff like that. They say, nope, they're still on schedule. They'll work through snow, ice, whatever. Yeah, so, that was a big concern, but I also wanted to bring that to the commission if you guys had any concerns with weather pushing that, which.
As long as it's going along.
Yeah,
Sure.
yep.
All right. Any other business? Any public comment? Any public? And a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Or
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we're adjourned.